We're here, we're gonna show you how to make your own male dog wraps for the small dogs. More like 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pound dogs. Thank God Chief does not need that. He's a big boy. But anyway, this is Trooper, and he wants to model his new belly band. And you quit growling. And this is Wolf behind me, and he's modeling his new belly band. What we're gonna do, we're gonna sit down and show you how to make these. They're very inexpensive. You can you can recycle materials. You can recycle materials, and or you can buy the little squares you buy at the Dollar Tree, or buy it by the yard, whatever. It doesn't take much. So I'm going to show you all the measurements. I'm hoping that before you start this, that you realize you're going to have a sewing machine and some sewing experience. So we're going that will help you out a lot. But anyway, you can buy the male wraps online or in pet supply stores, and I call them dog pants. I just think it gives the dogs a little bit of a dignity. I hate to call them dog diapers, but in order for YouTube's algorithm to work, I had to put that on my thumbnail. So anyway, this is what we're going to do today, and I'm so glad you're here and that you're joining us. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have been rescuing animals, dogs, for 23 years. I had my own rescue. It's called PalmRescue.com, and we are closing down at the end of this year. And it's been a hard year, and so I have always taken the hardest to place Pomeranians, the sick ones, the old ones, the ill ones, the ones with behavior problems. He checks all the above boxes. Anyway. So I ended up keeping a lot of them. I've had wonderful adopters over the years. Absolutely love my adopters. But it's time to slow down, and the economy is different now. And so we're trying to make YouTube videos. So please subscribe, like, leave a comment. It would greatly help us if we ever got monetized. It would really help us keep taking good care of everybody. So, all right, thank you for following, and please watch all the way to the end, and I hope this works out for you. Hey, if you have any questions, I read the comments, and I'd be glad to try to help you out. And then maybe you'll give me ideas of the next video. Okay, so we're getting started on making these belly bands, male wraps, or diapers, however you want to call it. I wanted to show you what I line them with. Now you're going to see us make these in just a few minutes, but it will do you no good to put this on the dog if you don't have something to line and to absorb the urine. Otherwise, they're just going to pee right through it. It's not going to help you any. So what this is the Equate version of the Poise pads. I'm sure all the drugstores make their own brand. You could buy, pretty much any brand. I found that Equate suits my needs. It's cheaper than the name brand that starts with a P, and I order it from the big box store that starts with a W, and I order them by the case. And there's 72 in this pack. And for my 6 and 7 pound dogs, what I do is I get the long length, maximum absorbency, okay? And this is what they look like when they, come in the pack. And you open them like that, and you see how long they are? That's the reason I get the long length. And then I take the scissors, cut them right down the middle. I have a little trouble seeing what I'm doing here, but okay? And then you're gonna peel the sticky paper off. You're gonna stick the pad right in the exact middle, okay? Now, when they run out to go to the bathroom, you take these off. So they're getting air, their stomach's drying out, their private area's drying out. Then when they come back in, you put one in with a clean pad, okay? You do not want your dog to have urine burns from leaving these on too long. And you don't want them to get diaper rash. Yeah, so this works, and plus the smell. These pads smell when they get, filled up with urine. Now, the reason we use poise pads, reason we use the bladder protection pads is that they're specifically designed to absorb urine. I mean, they quickly absorb urine. That's what they're made for. Plus, they have something, I think they do something to deal with the odor, so you're not having that dog urine smell. It's absorbed, so it's a lot better than just your maxi pads or something like that. So you want the bladder control pads. And of course, you can, if you got, if you can afford it, buy whatever you want. Buy the expensive kind, and use one pad and don't cut it in two. But I found that some decent sharp scissors make short work of that, and you get twice as many. So I don't have to buy these often. And when I buy them, I have them delivered to the house. I have no shame in standing in line and buying these things. I'm an old lady. I could care less what people think about me. But it's just more convenient for me to buy a case at a time. So if you have more than one dog, you might want to think about that. And okay, we're going to get started on this. One second. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is making a belly band like this. So what we want to do is measure the middle, okay? Woof, you still. Take your measuring tape. So we're right at 19 inches. Okay, can you see that? Right there, 19. So his belly band is going to need to be 19 inches long. Okay, you ready? Up. So this is a little piece of material that I bought from the Dollar Tree. They come in the little rolls. I forget, they call them fat something, but I can't remember the name of them right now. But anyway, they are right at 21 inches. So I have 19, and it gives you a couple of inches to hem. And then the width, this is just right when you cut it like this. It's as wide as you need it to be, which is about let's see. I folded. Let me just go to the line. It's 10 inches wide. So I can cut this in half exactly, and it's going to be the right size. Now, if you have a larger dog, you're going to want more material. You're going to want it to be wider, okay? We're talking about a 7-pound dog. So you have to upsize everything for the bigger dog. I've never put a belly band on a dog that was bigger than 25 or 30 pounds. I think that'd be pretty difficult. You're probably gonna have to buy something store-bought for that. But this is just making your own at home, and I like to make them festive. It's fall, and I've got some cute materials. Look at this one's got scarecrows on it, and then this one has, the little blue truck and the sunflowers, the pumpkins, and then I bought this thrift store shop, and I'll make some of that out of that too. So, okay, I'm gonna get to cutting, and we'll get on to the next step, cutting mat, and it makes it so much easier. But if you don't, you can just use your scissors, okay? But I've got the cutting wheel, and let's do the cutting mat this time, and I'll show you how easy it is, okay? So right here at 10. There you go. What I'll do is fold it with the wrong side out. Then we're going to sew here and here with the machine. Then we're going to turn it inside out, okay? I usually keep my iron out. You can iron this flat. It makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so we've got our pieces all even. And here we go. Oops. Slow this down a little bit. Okay, so when you get to the end here, you're going to want to sew across just one of the ends because you're going to have to turn it inside out. Okay. Now what you're going to do is turn this whole little sleeve inside out. As you take my scissors, just gently, gently poke out the ends, the corners here. So you have a nice square corner. See there? Just very gently. You don't want to poke a hole. But you don't, I don't like rounded corners. And there's your little sleeve. Now here's where I usually get up my iron and iron this thing flat. Okay? Once you have it ironed flat, then you can iron a little, tuck it in like this and iron that. And this will be what we're sewing, okay? Let me go get my iron. Okay, so we got it laid out here on the table. And got my iron nice and hot. Just gonna flatten this out. See, this is the end that is sewn. So you're done with it for now. This is the end that you're going to be sewing up. So you want to get it fixed just right with your fingers. And the reason I do this, it just makes it so much easier to sew it. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's on a dog. It's not a wedding dress. I can't sew much of anything, but this is just these belly bands. Sometimes they call them male wraps. Some people call them dog diapers. Some people call them belly bands. I call them dog pants because I think it gives the dogs a little bit of dignity. Okay. So it's sewn. I'm ready to sew it. So this is the end that we ironed. You're just going to sew it up. Now, if you want to make it really tough and where it doesn't just get all wadded up in the wash, what I do is sew down each side. Sew down all the way down this side and all the way down this side. And that helps keep it from getting, you know how a cotton shirt wrinkles up? Because this is cotton. So it helps keep it from wrinkling. Okay? Okay. Now, we're all sewn. I'll cut my strings threads over here. I've sewn down all sides, so it's completely, the ends are sewn, the sides are sewn. Okay, so next, you're gonna want your Velcro. You want a piece about 4 inches long for this size belly band. This is gonna depend on your dog, how long you want it. But this is about 4 inches long, and I like the width to be at least 2 inches wide. Now I have ordered this on online, and I've ordered the bigger rolls. So you have both the hook and the loop. So, or you can, I've picked it up at the big box store that starts with a W. I'm not going to advertise for them, but you know what I'm talking about. I've picked up there too. So you do not want the sticky kind. You want the kind that's sewn on. Yes, I almost forgot. Do not buy the stick-on kind. You do not, that does not work. Buy the kind you sew on, okay? Now, you're going to put one of them like this and the other like this. You see that? And you're gonna, this is how it's gonna fit on the dog's back, okay? So you're gonna really be sure before you sew both these down that you got the ones that they're gonna match together, okay? That they're gonna hook. So one's gonna go this direction. This is the stickier one, you know, the one that has the hooks. And this is the one that it sticks to, the loop one. So you want one to face that way. It's going to be one on either side, okay? One on either side. All right, let's get to sewing. So here we are, getting ready to sew the Velcro on. But I did want to say, if you don't have any experience using a sewing machine, you're going to want to get on YouTube and look for some sewing videos and have a sewing machine. I just assume that anybody that's watching this knows how to sew. So it's just real simple. Okay, here we go. We're going to sew the Velcro. By the way, we're having a storm, and I have my rescue Border Collie is a storm alert dog. She alerts us at least half an hour before the weather people ever do. So it looks like we're about to have a bad storm. I'm sorry. But I'm thankful that she alerts us. At least somebody does. And I'll give you a little hint. The more times you do this, you know, you can go around 2 or 3 good times, the longer your belly band's gonna last. There we go. We've already gone completely around the whole thing. Now here's the tricky part. Like I said before, you want to be really careful that you sew this one on the side that it hooks, because it is no fun picking this thing off. I can't tell you how many times I got my thread stuck on it. How many times I've had to pick it off because I've sewn it on the wrong side. Okay, so here we go. You want it to fold over like that. So you're gonna want to put it right here. This is the hook side. Now my cord was stuck up in there. One more. We're done. Okay, now I'll go back and trim all my threads up. But okay, can you see how it fits? Now we're done. I mean, what I usually end up doing though is sew across this way. I'll do another loop around here just to be sure that's on good and strong so it doesn't rip it off when you pull it on and off. And okay, we'll get the dog to model it for us. We're just going to model this for us. Now, you do know, or if you don't, I'm going to teach you. We use a poise pad here. And what I do is I'm going to do a whole nother video on how to show you how to use those. But a poise pad, and I get the long ones and I cut them in half. And then you stick them here, okay? Because this is not going to do anything. If a dog pees through it, it's just going to pee through it. So we use the poise pads because they absorb urine fast. That's what they're made for. And they're odor control, okay? And we just use it. We just put this on the dog when they're inside. Stand up. And we take it off as soon as they go out the door, and we put a dry pad on each time. Okay, if he's wet, you don't want to put a wet pad back on. But now he is going to be all spiffy and ready for fall with his pumpkin belly band on. Okay, let's turn over. Show you this side. But doesn't he look spiffy? Yeah. That's going to be it for now. We'll make more videos. I will do one on the poise pads, the lining, and we'll do that. Y'all, I'm really new at this video making. If you would please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to share it. We're trying to get monetized, and we lack about 100 subscribers, and we need, like, I don't know, 500,000 watch hours. So help us out, would you? All right. Thank you so much. Have a good